All right. Can you actually lose your IRA in bankruptcy? Can your creditors come after your IRA? The answer is yes. I'll just skip right to it. If you lose the tax-exempt status on your IRA, yeah, unfortunately, yes. Now, somebody's going to watch this video, stop right here, and then comment and go, he doesn't know what he's talking about. No, you're protected. Let's go over the details here. And I'm not doing this to scare you. This is not like a clickbaity kind of thing. Let's actually do it. So we're going to cite the actual court case that made this happen here. It's a poor lady named Stephanie, but I think you'll find that old Stephanie here decided she was trying to trick the system. Now, if you lose tax-exempt status by making a mistake, and I'm going to go over each one of them so we don't make this mistake here, then yeah, you have the risk of the creditors coming after your IRA. Now, typically IRAs are exempt, and it's not 100%. Let's see. So right now, I don't ever remember this number. $1,711,000 is the contribution and earnings amount that is protected. Up to that cap is protected federally. States often have, and we'll go over some of or all the states that have unlimited protection, but there's a catch. And so that's the limit, right? So if you do have a bankruptcy issue, you're protected up to that. Now, I should note, this is only your contributions and earnings. If by chance, and this happens a lot, you were to have a $1 million IRA, and then you, for whatever reason, rolled over from a 401k another $1 million, you did great. Good for you, right? The rollover money doesn't count. So it's only your contributions and the growth from those contributions, right? So rollovers don't count. Okay, so here's what happened. Stephanie Farber got in a bit of trouble here. She inherited an IRA from her father, $41,000. Okay. Now, in 2018, she rolls that money into her IRA. First of all, you can't do that, right? So watch what happens. She was trying to trick the system here, and it didn't work for her. She, at some point, declares bankruptcy. I think it was 2020, right before COVID. So she declares bankruptcy, and I outlined it so you could read along with me here. It's like a little book. Cool. Okay. So what happens is, first of all, you can't move IRA money that you inherited into your own IRA. It has to stay separate. So she puts this into her IRA, which means, she went over the limit, which in 2018 was $6,500. I'm not sure if she had previously contributed or not. In other words, it doesn't matter. She put in $41,000. That is greater than $6,500. She went over the limit. That is one of the things that can cause you to lose tax-exempt status in your IRA. It's called an excess contribution. You so much as put an extra dollar in that sucker by not even inherited money. You put in your $7,000 this year. You accidentally put in $7,100. You have contributed excess to your IRA. If you don't fix it, then you have lost your tax-exempt status. Now, the bigger company, if you have your IRA somewhere, they're usually pretty good about letting you know. If you're working with a financial advisor, they should let you know, and they should fix it actually for you, so there's no issues. We do this all the time. Happens every year. We have to go through a bunch of people and fix their excess, but it's a really important thing to do. It's not something you want to miss. Okay, so she loses her tax-exempt status because she has an excess contribution, a dramatically large excess. What do you think happened here? Any guesses why she put $41,000 into an IRA? It's my belief in this case, I briefly read through like the summary judgment. It's my belief that she found out, or her attorney or whatever told her, inherited IRAs are not actually protected. And so she thought, well, I'm going to put it in my name, right? And then it's protected. No, she did not get away with that. Okay, so there's a bunch of other things that can cause you to lose your tax-exempt status. We just did excess contributions. You just fix it, right? It happens. We all accidentally contribute too much. You set an automatic contribution. Just fix it, and you're fine. Prohibited transactions. This falls into a category what we call self-dealing. Your IRA is supposed to be for retirement. It is not supposed to help support you along the way, and if they find out that it did, you've got a problem. The most common one that we see, and again, we have thousands of clients all over the United States, so we see trends in everything. Clients are, starting to have less money, falling for scams, whatever. We see it all because there's just so many people. The most common thing that people screw up here with self-dealing in their IRA is when they start a self-directed IRA thinking, I'm going to go buy real estate. You're allowed to do that, actually. It just can't benefit yourself or any one of your family members, basically, right? Meaning it can't benefit your daughter or your grandmother. You can't buy a house and let your mom live there rent free, or maybe she pays you rent and you pays it back to the IRA. Self-dealing, that does not count. You're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to loan yourself money from an IRA. That's a little bit tricky, right? Because you can loan yourself money from your 401k. You can't do it from an IRA. You do have 60 days to pay back the money, though. So if by chance you're closing on a house, you need a few bucks, but then you'll have the money or something, you're trading in a house for another one. You have 60 days to essentially borrow from your IRA. Just has to have the money back within 60 days. That's technically a loan, but otherwise you're not allowed to do that. And you cannot invest in, like, I can't take my IRA and pull money out or somehow direct money towards my business to hire a new employee, right? You're not allowed to invest in your own business. You can't buy shares of your own business inside of an IRA that you control. And there is a trick there. We should do a video on that one, because you are allowed to buy shares of a company you own partial control over in a Roth IRA. Think about that. Could be interesting, huh? Selling your shares one day tax-free. And then this is probably common knowledge, but IRAs can invest in most things, but you can't invest in like stamps, baseball cards, collectible things like that, right? You can't go to an auction house and take your IRA money, a self-directed IRA, and I don't know, buy a piece of art or something, right? So if you break one of those rules, you do lose your tax-exempt status. And I should mention that that's whether it's a IRA or the self-directed IRA. If you're not familiar, self-directed IRAs are for people who say, I want to save for retirement. I just don't want to invest in the stock market. I want to invest in whatever I decide to invest in. So you just got to know what you can and can't do there, and you won't get in any trouble. Okay, let's move on. So your IRA is protected up to the federal limit there. Your spouse's IRA, or if you get an IRA from your spouse, is protected, like if you inherit it, he or she passes away. If you inherit an IRA from Uncle Bob down the street, or not down the street, Uncle Bob and your family, right? So that doesn't count, right? Now, what would you do there, though? Let's say you are going into some kind of bankruptcy and you realize you have this inherited IRA. Don't just let them have it. You have choices of what you can do here. Like, you get ahead of this, okay? So maybe we'll do, I don't know how many people go through that, but maybe that's something we could do a video on. Anyways, I just wanted to show, like, if you screw this up, right, and you end up with someone who has $175,000 in their IRA there, losing that money, right? That's the average amount that people have in their IRA at that age, according to Fidelity. So it's like, oh man, that could be dangerous if we lose our tax-exempt status. So we don't want to do that. Now, the states that will have unlimited state protection, remember I said there's a catch? So Florida is a great one here. Florida, Georgia, and Alabama, I think, work together on something called the anti-garnishment law. And I put it here, didn't I? I was Alabama, down here at the bottom. Okay, so they have unlimited protection. So you've got the federal cap of 1.711, and then you have the unlimited protection of the states. However, the states cannot override your tax-exempt status. So it doesn't even, if you still screw it up, right, and you have the excess contribution or you buy a piece of art or something, yeah, it's still a problem, right? So you want to make sure we don't do things like that. Okay, and when we look at comparisons here, we talked about the 401k rollover. When you do a rollover, first of all, 401ks on their own, they're over here. There's like on a whole separate planet when it comes to bankruptcy. It's just protected. So there's no like scary thing over there. But if you roll it into an IRA, most people think, oh, well, now it's not protected. I'm only protected up to the limit. You now know that that's not technically true. The IRA is protected up to 1.7, but that is your contributions and your earnings from those contributions. Any rollovers don't count. Transfers do. If you had two IRAs and you merge them together, well, that's all the IRAs you have now in one bucket. Well, that counts, right? So 401ks are fine. And of course, inherited IRAs from anyone else other than your spouse are not protected there, but you want to make sure you get ahead of it there. So what do we do here? Well, just don't make an excess contribution, right? And if you do, make sure your advisor, or if you're working with us, we'll just help you out. We'll fix it. don't get messed up here, right? Inherited IRAs, got to keep them separate there. You do not do it. If we catch that here and somebody does that, it's an instant excess. We go, whoa, where'd you get that money from? That's a phone call. We get out, take the money back, right? We'll fix it. Don't fall for the things you see online. This one kind of bugs me a little bit because I think it's AI driven these days, where maybe kids think, oh, I'm going to talk about, self-directed IRAs. Yeah, careful, right? I've seen a lot of things that I'm like, nah, that's not right. You can't actually do that. Good luck, kid, because that's going to get you in trouble one day. And yes, they will find out. The IRS is incredibly good at self-directed IRA monitoring. I have no idea how they do it so well. Rollovers. These are kind of documented for you. So if you roll over a 401k into an IRA, you don't necessarily need to take a screenshot or anything. They're all documented in your statements. But it is something that if you go through a bankruptcy issue there, you're going to ask your advisor. We do that here where someone will tell us that just life's not working out. Business went downhill real quick. And we'll go, okay, well, first of all, let's get these numbers ready for your attorneys to show them that this is a rollover. This is an IRA. So you're not getting in any, so you're not losing anything, hopefully. Which brings you to number 5, consult with financial advisors under here and understand your state laws. So anyways, just wanted to point that out, that there is a way that, yes, your IRA can be dipped into by your creditors. However, you really have to do like Miss Stephanie here did, try to get one over on the system by shifting the inherited money in there to lose your tax-exempt status. Anything else, you're allowed to fix. So it's not like, you one and done and you're in trouble, except for self-dealing. If you make the decision to self-deal, you don't really get to go back and say, well, I didn't know that I couldn't use my IRA to buy my own house and then pay my own self the mortgage back to the IRA. No, that's not allowed. I hope you learned something. I know it was a little bit long here today, but I want to make sure we were clear about this, that the answer is technically yes. And hey, thanks for watching. Check us out at jazzwealth.com. If you're working with a financial advisor who's not teaching you anything like this, well, we do. We hope you'll consider us. Transfer over to Jazz. We won't get you in trouble. All right, see ya.